Recently, I was sent an email by someone called Vitosh, and in this email I read what is one of the best Snoke theories I have ever seen. Now, like all Snoke theories, this one has flaws, which we will get to, but it also has some of the most plausible points I have ever seen, and for that, we are talking about this. The theory is that Supreme Leader Snoke is a character that I've seen nobody talk about or mention. A character who even looks extremely similar to Snoke, Cronal. Cronal, supposedly born as Peric, was a human male and former prophet of the dark side who was better known by his codename Black Hole, the mysterious director of Imperial intelligence who collaborated with Darth Vader after the Battle of Yavin to help eliminate the Rebel Alliance. Cronal was recruited by Emperor Palpatine from the Prophets to join the Empire. He abandoned himself to his meditations in the dark side, becoming withdrawn, physically frail and paranoid. Considered Palpatine's monster maker, Cronal was responsible for the creation of several Sith spawn and other devices of Sith alchemy. As time passed, Cronal withdrew further, growing steadily more mad as the dark side consumed him. After being exiled during the Galactic Civil War, Cronal returned as a warlord and took the name of Shadow Spawn. With a cadre of the Emperor's royal guards and a legion of Shadow Stormtroopers at his disposal, Shadow Spawn laid waste to the world of the New Republic. He and his splinter Imperial faction blazed a path of death and destruction, committing acts of piracy, terrorism, and mass slaughter. Conquering the Inner Rim, the warlord established his base of operations on the world of Mindor. The New Republic, responding to the threat of Shadow Spawn, sent the newly appointed General Luke Skywalker after him, starting a campaign that resulted in a substantial loss of life. Planning a trap for Skywalker on Mindor, Shadow Spawn was defeated during the ensuing battle, where he perished. However, through the means of the Force, he revived himself. Lord Cronal was cunning, and one of Palpatine's most powerful dark side mages, but Cronal's heavy immersion in the dark side of the Force took a toll on him. Physically, the dark side ate away at Cronal, making him frail, shrunken, and dependent upon his life support chamber. Cronal suffered mentally too, with every vision and use of the dark side chipping away at his sanity. He became paranoid over non-existent threats to his life, driving him further into seclusion. Cronal's tendency to mark his forces in black was another mark of his eccentricity, though it provided a tactical advantage as well. He was also able to manipulate his foes so they would play directly into his hands. Considered to be vicious in temperament, he ordered his troops to lay waste to many Republic worlds, and in doing so created wholesale slaughter and carnage in the year following the Battle of Endor. Much of Black Hole's power derived from fear and paranoia. Individuals who spoke with him claimed to feel a noticeable chill, though part of this fear was his physical presence. Cronal was also capable of inducing fear in others through the Force. Some of this next segment is provided to me by Vitosh in the email he sent me. The word Snoke has a real meaning in Norway, which means snoop. I checked the dictionary and the meaning behind the word, and I found the verb synonym, which is investigate or look around furtively in an attempt to find out something, especially information about someone's private affairs. But the word snoop is mostly connected to another word with the same definition, which is spying. Spying has the same meaning and definition, but with little differences like this. 1. Work for a government or other organisation by secretly obtaining information about enemies or competitors. 2. Observe someone furtively. As we know, there are no detectives or something like this in the Star Wars universe. But what about spies? I searched immediately about some spies who existed in the Star Wars universe, and I have found one particular person who can fit the role of Snoke, and his name is Lord Cronal. What is really interesting about this is that he never appeared or revealed himself to many people, and even Darth Vader only saw his hologram from time to time, but not his physical shape or form. Only a handful of people knew Cronal's true form, a shrunken, withered and frail old man. Steeped in the affairs of the dark side, Cronal had abandoned what was left of his former self. Cronal had many other powers of the Force, including the ability to control minds, rip thoughts from the minds of others, cast Force illusions, and heal himself. Now this works perfectly with Snoke, as Snoke has been speculated to control the mind of Kylo Ren. A popular theory is that Snoke is the one showing Kylo Ren Darth Vader and communicating with Kylo Ren as Darth Vader through the Force, which is something that Cronal would have been able to do. One of the most obvious similarities are the physical similarities between Cronal and Snoke. I found it incredibly interesting that Cronal is described as a shrunken, withered and frail old man, which is exactly what Snoke is. Also, it has been said that only a handful knew Cronal's true form. Cronal worked in the shadows and only showed himself to the likes of Darth Vader as a hologram and never showed his true physical form. Now who does that sound like? Snoke. In The Force Awakens, we never once see Snoke in person. We see Snoke as a hologram the whole time. Who knows if Kylo Ren ever even saw Snoke in person? It's known that Snoke seduced Kylo Ren from the shadows, so maybe Snoke has never revealed himself properly, just like Cronal, who did everything through another form of communication. As I mentioned earlier, every theory has its flaws, and this one is no exception. First of all, Cronal is legend. Now this instantly turns heads and I can understand why. However, the way I see it is this. Anything in Star Wars can become canon overnight, just as Thrawn did. For all we know, Disney might hold these things in the legends category just to make us think that these things don't exist, so we won't predict things and make theories such as this one. The next flaw is Cronal's death. So Cronal died first on Mindor and then on Andu Wheel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced those words. Both at the hands of Luke Skywalker. However, this doesn't mean that he's gone. Immortality and being reborn is something that's been known to happen in Star Wars before. An example of this is the Sith Emperor. In fact, Cronal already died and came back and has multiple names throughout his lives. So why couldn't Cronal die and come back as Snoke? Overall, I think this theory is very good. If it weren't for the fact that Cronal is legends, it would be near enough a flawless theory, but apart from that, it's awesome. Cronal and Snoke share so many similarities, whether that's their use of working from the shadows or holograms, the same force powers and abilities, terrifying demeanour, and of course, their undeniable physical features. This would also explain how Snoke knows so much about the Empire, the Emperor, Darth Vader himself, everything to do with the Clone Wars, the Empire. It's a known fact that Snoke saw the rise and fall of the Empire. This could be how. So it fits in perfectly in terms of time as well. Both Cronal and Snoke were around at the same time. They look similar, the same force powers and traits. It just works so well. It's not a perfect theory, but it is a really, really good one. If you enjoyed this theory and want to get it out there and show your friends, then please share this video. I got all this information from Vitosh in my email and also Wikipedia, so thank you to those two sources, and thank you Vitosh for emailing this and bringing it to my attention. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. So what do you guys think of this Snoke theory? Could this work? Would this happen? Let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed, that extremely helps me out, and subscribe to me for more regular Star Wars videos. Thanks for watching guys.